It's the Daily Dog.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Dog. I am thankful that you are hanging out with me today as we celebrate 150,000 subscribers. I don't know if it's going to happen by the actual time that this video drops, but sometime this weekend, we are going to cross that threshold where we have 150,000 subscribers to this YouTube channel. And I am so thankful, y'all. I really am. I'm so just thrilled that you're all a part of this community. It's been a wonderful year, and I'm really looking forward to continuing this and continuing to dive into this music and dive into what it means for all of us and just enjoy the process as we go in the coming weeks and in the coming months and years. So, y'all, I have brought out the good stuff today because for 150,000 subscribers, I pulled out my Blanton's, which is still here. This is my good stuff. This is my good bourbon. And we're going to have a little pour to celebrate here. I've got my Buffalo Trace glass. And we're going to give that a little pour. It's going to be lovely. I got to save the rest of it because this stuff is hard to come by, y'all. It's wonderful stuff and some of the best bourbon that I have ever tasted. So, y'all, to all of you, from my house to yours, thank you for being a part of this channel. I really appreciate it. Cheers, everybody. I have to smell it first before I drink it. That would be sacrilege. It's so beautiful just to smell, y'all. There's just nothing like, I haven't tasted anything quite as good as this. It's really, really great. And they don't even pay me anything to say that. It's just the best bourbon I've ever tasted. So, I am I am stalling long enough because the reason why you are all here is not to hear how many subscribers we have. You are here to hear Tubular Bells by Mike Oldfield. It has been months people have been asking me to do this, and I almost did it for around the Halloween time, but decided not to. We did Hocus Pocus instead, and that was quite fun. But the drum beat continues for us to listen to Tubular Bells by Mike Oldfield. So that is what we are doing today. And I think it's going to be quite fun because I found a score to follow along with. So buckle up, y'all. It's going to be fun. Mike Oldfield, Tubular Bells. This was his debut album back in May of 1973. He was 19 at the time of this recording, and he played most of the instruments that we will hear on the recording. It didn't really sell a whole lot out of the gate, but so this was debuted in May of 73. In December of that same year is when The Exorcist came out. And this opening sequence from Tubular Bells was used in the soundtrack to Tubular Bells, and it ended up just gaining this piece worldwide acclaim. And he ended up winning a Grammy for Best Instrumental Composition in 1974 for this album. So we're going to be listening to part one, side one of the album, and we're going to be using the original recording that has been remastered in 2009 and put on YouTube by Mike Oldfield's channel. However, that version of that is used in this wonderful score video that YouTube user Mewthic, M-E-W-T-H-I-C, has put on YouTube, and we're going to make use of this video today as we go through. And I'm a little thankful because it's great to have a score to react to, and I think it makes it a little more tangible for all of us to kind of see just how complicated and how wonderful everything fits together. So a little bit about my experience with this tune. There's not much, y'all. And you might be saying, you call yourself a composer. What the hell? What can I say? I am not a fan of scary movies. I am not a fan of horror movies. And so I don't even think, I might have seen The Exorcist once. I might have been made to sit through it once among friends. And I don't have any interest in watching it again. I just don't. It's just a personal preference. So I know of this music, of the main theme from its association with The Exorcist, but the rest of the album I've never listened to. So this is truly going to be, for most of this, a first listen. So I'm excited, and we're going to dive in, y'all. This is Mike Oldfield, Tubular Bells Part 1, with a follow-along music score provided to us by Muthic. So let's dive in. Y'all ready? Here we go. Tubular Bells, read-along version. So he puts this in 4 plus 3 plus 4 plus 4, and it repeats 8 times. It's a 4-measure phrase. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. When I hear this, it's interesting the way that he's notated this. I'm going to let it keep going here for a second, because we can all see this. And there's the 8th one. So when I see this, y'all, or when I hear this, I'm hearing the combinations of 7 that put some of this stuff on the downbeats. He's not doing this in this. This is interesting. You get a downbeat here and you get a downbeat here, but here and here you get suspensions, offbeats. So where I might write that in 7/8 and give that a firm downbeat, and I might write this one in 7/8 and give it a firm downbeat, by the time we get through the 4-measure phrase, it really doesn't matter, y'all, because once you have 4 plus 3 plus 4 plus 4, let's see, that's 7 plus 8 is 15. And that's the way that I tend to hear this, is 7s and 8s kind of alternating. And it's interesting that he's put this as just a simplified notation with 4/4 and 3/4. I think it works quite well. Let's keep going and see where this leads. Add the bass. So it's a repetitive 4-measure pattern that's divided into 2 parts. The first part is an expansion on the A minor chord. The second part is an expansion on the G major chord, subtonic to A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's this little bit here at the end with this me, re, do at the end that always throws me. If I don't have the music to listen to, it's the little catch beat at the end that really makes it interesting. And this repetitive pattern that he keeps doing, especially this main little theme motive in through here, reminds me a lot of the Interstellar soundtrack, especially with the organ. Wonderful soundtrack. It just creates this sense of universal time, right? With all of these fast-moving notes. So it's suspenseful, but it's timeless at the same time. It's a really neat effect. And notice that he's putting this dissonance right in this money range, right around middle C. It's almost a different meter overlaid, isn't it? It's like he's in 3/4 in his left hand of the piano while everybody else is doing other stuff. We have a couple of names for music like this that uses these repetitive patterns. Passacaglia is a word that we've used. Chaconne is another word that we use. It just means repetitive musical patterns that can be layered and used over and over again. The blues progression is one such. You know, the 4-chord progression in 4-chord songs is such a harmonic pattern that can be repeated ad nauseum, and then he's just layering stuff on top of it. Back to A, down to flat 6 to minor 5. Muthik did an absolutely splendid job of writing out all of this. It's really, really fantastic. So I'm very thankful to him for putting all of this work in. And we're in F sharp. Kind of a suspended chord. And there's the major. So you've got the major triad in through there. And the suspended part with the B against the C sharp. Bass moves up to G sharp, then back down. He's gonna move. Yeah! Hang on a second. Hang on a second. What just happened? I gotta go back to this. He says bell, which isn't a bell, but the guitar. Thank you. Where did that, how did that get? Now I'm, now I'm off. Okay. No. Shucks, now I'm just off in Never Never Land, y'all. I'm sorry for this. I'm just going to keep going as it is. I lost where he was. Actually, I'm going to go back. Why don't I just go back about a half a minute, and we'll see where they are. Guitars in parallel thirds. Bop, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Bop, ba-da-da-da-da-da. Moving up by half steps. E to F sharp. Yeah, so this is back where we had been when they moved to F sharp. Huh. So here, they're going to move straight from F sharp to A minor, a chromatic third relationship. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. Love being able to see a representation of the music. Makes it so much easier to follow along. And for those of you that aren't used to looking at scores, you might be going, information overload. I have practice looking at this stuff. Now we're in B minor. B major, sorry. Down to 5. So that would be 1, 5. F sharp is held through. I love his end score comments. Well done. That's some rhythm, y'all. Just think of them as different combinations of fast notes over A in this case. Interesting sound. Still going up the scale and back down. Another chromatic third shift from A to C sharp. Similar pattern he did before, but in a different pitch level, right? This big tentpole style melody plotting reminds me of some British composers that have come before Mike Oldfield. These big angular melodies, right? Thinking of like Vaughan Williams and Britten and Holst. Okay, that's a lot of information to look at. Four, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 1, and 2, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, and 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Interesting stuff he's doing here, y'all. Yeah, more chromatic thirds. That A chord goes down to G minor, and which has a B flat in it, and then he switches to a B minor chord that has a B natural in it. Just fascinating motion. And 4 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I want to go back to that chord. Y'all, where are we? 9-13, moving back, not there, there. Check this chord out. What is he doing in through here? I was thinking that can't be an E sharp, y'all, because that would go right against that F sharp. Well, check out our clef, right? I was thinking bass clef. So always remember to check the clef, y'all. So we've got a B here. We've got this kind of suspension going in through here, but it looks like just a B minor chord with an added ninth in through there, especially that C sharp hanging out all the way up there. Fascinating voicings that he's got going on. Shimmery sort of suspended chords. In C sharp, goes to F sharp, acts as a dominant. T. Okay. What just happened there? Where are we? 9:48. Sorry for all of this, but we're on a journey of discovery, my friends. This is new to me, so I'm just kind of doing some score study and filming it as we go. Glad that you are here. What is going on through here? We land on this F sharp, and then we get that ninth up there. Everybody's happy. I'm going to go ahead. Okay. Re goes to Do and F sharp. We're in F sharp, and actually it's an F sharp major chord. Even though he doesn't have any sharps or flats in the key signature, right? He hasn't changed the key signature at all through this but he's changed keys several times. That is common in classical notation, that if it's something that just kind of goes from key to key and changes a lot of times we'll just put no key signature and just add the sharps and flats in as needed. And so it's up to you to figure out what key it's in instead of relying on the key signature. But up and through here, we've got this F sharp down in the bass. Everybody's happy. We got the 5th hanging out through here in the lead instrument. And we've got this arpeggio up here of the 3rd, the 5th, and the major 7th of that chord. And so we get this nice, wonderful major 7 sound on F sharp. There's an E sharp in this chord, and he goes to an A minor again, which has the E natural. So it's all of this, the A sharps turn to A naturals, and the E sharps turn to E naturals. And it's just a really fascinating way that he just goes from one place to another. This movement by chromatic third is one that I have seen over and over and over again this year in this music. And it's one that I don't see as much of in traditional classical music. We composers historically tend to do root motion more by 5th when they're moving keys or changing chromaticism and starting to move places, instead of moving by 3rds, which these guys tend to do quite a bit of. We're gonna keep rolling, y'all. Here we go. Cuts the texture. Now that he's back in A minor, and then they get a sense for everybody to come back in. We're starting to get some bells. Okay, minor 5/7, flat 6 major 7, to flat 7, to 1. Minor 5/7. If you want to get a sense of, if you want to follow the melody, it's in through here, but if you want to get a sense of the chords changing every 2 measures, just look to this line down here. One minor 5/7 to flat 6 to flat 7 and back to 1 in this section. I love his sense of repetition in through here. The whole piece, he's proving these themes by repeating them. I really wouldn't like to be asked to play the piano for this piece. It's a lot of notes to get right. Only looking at the top part here. The slashes here mean that we go there and then down here, okay? Not everything at once. Some of those pitch bends. That really high whistle. The stereo effect is cool. You'll see he says right and left. You can hear slight differences in how those are played rhythmically. Back to A minor. 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a straight 12/8. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. It's fascinating that all of this came out of the mind of a 19-year-old, y'all. But I have seen a lot of 19-year-olds in my musical career as a teacher that have similar creativity. It's when you get to that age. I'm going to stop for a second. When you get to that age, we're about halfway through, so hang with me, y'all. When you get to that age, around 19 years old, what I've seen, like you're out of high school, you're into college, you're away from your parents maybe for the first time, you've got the wisdom of your early education, and now you're starting to go into more complex thinking. And especially if you're a musician, you're learning things at a very fast clip and coming into your maturity and trying to figure out what you want to say. And I remember being 19, 20, 21, and being a music student and just being an absolute, just, bin of information. Just keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming. I was a sponge and had an absolute energy for it back then. And Mike is just putting all of this out there, and it's really cool. I'm enjoying myself. We're gonna keep rolling. C goes to F, F down to E, back to A. It's kind of got a Dorian feel. Honky tonk piano. And hums underneath. Up by step. Major chords all planing in a row. Different tempo, but whoa. Woo. What is a double speed guitar? You can play the tambourine part. It needs to be turned up. I can't hear the tambourine that much. More tambourine. More like more cowbell. Leading tone. That should have been notated as a C sharp, probably. Especially since they're going to D here. They're moving to like a D minor 9 chord in through here. And we normally don't notate stuff as a D flat moving to a D natural, especially if the D flat is moving up by step. Normally flatted notes resolve down. But when it's functioning like a leading tone chord, we've got, and here he's got the C there. But it's like C sharp diminished almost, and then it moves to that D. E minor 9. Oh, and it's cool, the 4th in the bell. That's a neat sound up there. Yeah, so check this out. We've got an E with an added 9th, E minor with an added 9th, and then they're hitting the A's up here over the top of that. It's like an 11th. The A is going to tune to those F sharps, right? And that's how it's going to fit into all of that. Steel string acoustic guitar. B dominant to E minor. Up a step. Up another step. Up another step. He likes those ninth voicings quite a bit in through here. Cool. Parallel octaves with the bass. Cool. To the 5. Back to the 1. He likes these 2-measure phrases, doesn't he? That repeat. So he likes the repetition game. There are other transformations we can do. We can do augmentation, we can do diminution, we can do inversions, we can do things backwards, we can reharmonize stuff. There's lots of transformations that we can apply to the motives that we come up with compositionally. But he's pretty much doing just repetitions of these ideas, especially the melodic ideas. So even though the chord changes because the rhythm of the lick is the same, it continues that idea in our mind, right? I'm blown away by the work that Music has put into this. It's an astounding video. It's very helpful. So Music, if you're watching this at some point, thank you. Might need some more Blantons, y'all. How far are we into the piece? Kind of 3/4. This section is going on for quite an amount of time. Love the sound of the bass through here, though. It's totally cool. Five, back to 1.
Grand piano.
Grand piano. So this is going to be an instrument being introduced, playing a new melody based on the reed and pipe, based on the repetitive pattern that we've got going on. E major. Fa, mi, re, do, re, do, re, ba, da, da, ba, bi, da, ba. And the fact that I don't think he used any glockenspiel, cool. I don't think he used any synthesizers. This is all played, y'all. It's quite an amazing feat. Again, the major third of that E chord is almost an afterthought. The main note that's put against it is the F sharp, the 9th. Cool. Major 4 chord, back to minor 1. Wrong note. Cute. Two slightly distorted guitars. Who is the person speaking? That doesn't sound like a 19-year-old.
Mandolin.
Okay, mandolin. Too high for the mandolin. You should have played that an octave down, I think. I mean, it has those notes, obviously, but I would have opted for the lower octave.
Spanish guitar and introducing acoustic.
Acoustic guitar. Introducing acoustic guitar. Acoustic guitar. Major 1 chord in through all through here. We get our minor 5. And then back to major 1. Then the suspended 4 chord to the major 4 chord. Tubular bells. It's a heck of an attack he's getting on those things. It's got to be metal on metal with the mallet. In a way, oh, some voices coming in. In a weird way, it reminds me of some of the late Beatles repertoire, stuff that's just overdubbed and overdubbed and overdubbed and creates these absolute, just interesting sonic layers to the music. Yeah. This section, we only have a few minutes left. This has got to be the concluding section. Which is in a different spot from where he started. A lot of the beginning was in A. This is firmly in E. Major 4 to 1. That's really cool. Check this out, y'all. We're almost done. Hang in there. We're in E. This E major chord. He's got this really nice voiced triadic choir singing along with these ahs, and he's got this D sharp. That's the major 7th of that E major 7 chord, right? And then in the very next measure, he goes away from using it. The D sharp is in E major's key, and he's making it sound like we're in E major, especially with the use of that D sharp. But when he gets to the 5 chord over the B here, he turns the D natural, which makes it a modal minor 5 chord. Really fascinating. And then moves back to the E major chord in through there. They are slightly out of tune, I agree. I would think they could tune that for a recording. Just going to just acoustic guitar through the end. Yeah, because here's the final bar. Gently slows down the rhythm to just ease the car into the parking spot. And he parks the piece. And it ends on an E major chord. Really, really, really cool. Fantastic. I am thankful to have gone through that with all of you, and I am truly thankful for having the score available. It's hard, y'all, to really follow these longer pieces just by ear and trying to make sense of what you just heard with what you're saying now. The score makes it so much easier, so I'm very thankful to have had that. And I'm really happy that we finally did decide to put this piece on the channel and react to it and do all that sort of stuff. I'm really astounded by the maturity of Mike's writing when he was such a young person, but I'm not surprised by it. We have many musical students and musicians that sometimes their music pops and becomes part of the national or international conversation, and other times it doesn't. And sometimes that works, and sometimes, you know, sometimes things work in your favor and sometimes they don't. But it's really fascinating to go back and look at this person's music. And I honestly think that that opening section that was used by The Exorcist was a really great choice for a horror movie, because it's suspenseful, it's got lots of notes, it's hard to quantify because of the uneven meter, and it just makes you sit up and pay attention because you're trying to figure out what's going on. So just a wonderful time, y'all. I do have more of my Blantons, but I'm going to save it for another time. But for this time, thank you guys. Thank you for being with me. This is a longer bit of a video, but that's what we do on Fridays. So I am glad that you are joining me, or have joined me, for this Masterpiece Friday. We think that's what we're going to be calling these from now on. And boy, is that a masterpiece. I think it stands the test of time, y'all. Tubular Bells from 1973. Thank you to Music for your score that we were able to follow along with. Wonderful time. Thanks, y'all. We'll see you next week with more music. Until then, we will see you next time on another edition of The Daily Doug.